Hi there. The title of my speech today is Practice What You Preach. Has there ever been a time or someone you knew in your life that has let you down, that you used to look up as a role model, and they failed to live up to the expectations that they had set in place for you, only to fail? Almost hypocritical, I guess. Hi, my name is Robert. That's happened to me before. In the relationships that we build in our lifetime, it is important to practice what we preach because it builds our credibility and respect amongst others that we surround ourselves by. In my speech today, I hope to tell you about the importance of holding yourself accountable, how others are going to view your accountability, and on top of that, how being accountable can help improve your life. If there's one thing you're going to take away from this speech, I want it to be this one thing. I want you to be the example and not the exception. So without further ado, let's now discuss your own accountability. When we live up to the expectations we set in the workplace, work becomes better. According to the Journal of Occupational Health and Psychology, our accountability rises. As our accountability rises, we become less depressed and higher job satisfaction. Who doesn't want to be happier at work? Who wants to be depressed? It's simple. All you have to do is just hold yourself accountable and you will see these things rise up. On top of that, for those of us that are leaders or managers, our effectiveness is solely dependent on the quality of relationships that we have. Another study that was done by the Journal of Leadership and Organizational Studies has shown that leaders that are more open and honest with their employees gain more trust and better job satisfaction as well. So now that I've talked about how holding yourself accountable is important, let's take a look at how others hold you accountable. When people go out and they seek guidance, they need a role model that they can look up to and that they can relate to as well. Many polls have shown that dependability is rated as one of the most important qualities that any person can have. This is because we need somebody that we can look up to, that we can feel we see eye to eye with, that they are no different than us. They're our equals. Now, I want you to think back about my opening question, and has anybody ever let you down that was a role model? Think about it for a second. All right. So now that you thought about it, think about how you felt. Were you hurt that you were let down? Did that person or those people ever regain the trust that you had for them at one point? Do you remember how long it took them to regain that trust? I'm going to tell you a little bit of story of somebody that let me down. And that was my father. He almost died a few years ago because of medical complications of a ruptured appendix. And he spent quite a few days in the ICU. When he finally came out of it, he told both me, my mother, and my wife that he was done chewing tobacco, even though he'd been doing it for 35 years. After a few months, I came to find out that he was back and started chewing tobacco again. When this happened, I felt disgusted and angry that he had been on the brink of death and vowed not to do it again, only to let our family down. And it took some time for him to regain that trust and respect, as I'm sure it took some time for those people to gain your trust and respect back as well. So now let's look at things on a little bit of a lighter note and look at how being accountable for yourself can help improve your life. As many of us have seen in the public service announcements of Smokey the Bear, only you can prevent forest fires. Now, what does this mean? What does this have to do with accountability? It's simple. Accountability is all dependent on what you put into it. Only you are responsible for your own accountability. Nobody else affects it. It's all about you. It's your word, what you do, how you deliver. Nobody else can affect it. By being accountable, some good things are going to happen to your life. One is that you could positively affect another person's life. You can be a role model for them. Whether you realize it or not, people always need somebody to look up to. On top of that, When you're holding yourself accountable, you begin to gain knowledge about yourself that you may have not known before, or you see some weaknesses that you have and you improve on them. So, just remember what I said at the very beginning. Be the example and not the exception. You want to be a leader. You need to be transparent. Be honest with yourself. So, in conclusion, I've told you a little bit about the importance of being accountable, how others view your accountability, and how being accountable can help improve your life. And I'd like to leave you with this little challenge. I challenge you to come clean and be honest and open with yourself. If you lay a set of rules, hold yourself accountable to those rules. If you see yourself fall or go off track, find the reason or the purpose why you went off track. Because in the end, if you can see what you're doing wrong, you can correct it and become a better person. So, once again, thank you for listening to my little speech about practice what you preach. I am sure definitely going to try and practice what I preach every day from here on out, and I hope you do the same. Folks, take care.